Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. Wow, just when you think that transfer speculation is going to quieten down a bit, it ramps up even more. Fanta Lemon, Huntiers, otherwise known as. Anyway, let's get into the comment section and see who is around. Hail Hail says Andrew. Hail Hail says Andrew, and why is it not coming up on this? Why is it not? Why is it not shown? There we go. We are live. There we are. Let me just see. Yeah, there we go. Well, Pork Chop is in the house. Andrew Fernie is in the house also. And let's dive right into it. So, where do we start first? Obviously, there's been interest in Gustav Lagerbielke before. There's now even more interest in Gustav Lagerbielke again from the same club that was interested in him before. Lecce have made an approach for Gustav Lagerbielke. Again, it's understood that the Serie A club want a loan with an option to buy. In January, Lagerbielke's move to Lecce was Lisa, um, the Italian club was stalled on deadline day after Cameron Carter-Vickers picked up an injury. The 24-year-old Sweden international was due to fly out to Italy for a medical on January the 29th before Celtic pulled the plug on the deal. Lagerbielke joined from Elfsborg for £3 million, but has failed to hold down a place under Brendan Rodgers' team. And Brendan Rodgers told the player that he was surplus to requirements. Yes, he was surplus to requirements. And it looks like that team has come back in for him. So you've got to say that they've been true to their word by the player. They said that they would come back in for him, and they have. They want to take him on loan with an option to buy. Option to buy. It seems to be the way that clubs are going just now, but they want to basically try him out with the option to buy him. So if Celtic can get the £3 million back in the door for Gustav Lagerbielke, will that be a good bit of business? I feel a bit sorry for the player. He was one that I actually wanted to succeed at Celtic. Now, this evening, there is more transfer speculation about, yep, Genk are reportedly ready to offer a route out of Celtic. The South Korean international was completely falling out of favour with Brendan Rodgers. After all, Brendan Rodgers brought in the one and only Adam Ida for the second half of the season last year when we won the double. Yes, we did win the double. We have to keep reminding ourselves that. We won the double. Watching Republic of Ireland, Portugal just now. I never even knew that was on. See that my head's just totally out the window. So there'll be no viewers on tonight because everybody will be watching that. Hail, hail from Bavaria and Germany. There you go. You got any tickets for the Scotland game? No, seriously. If you got any tickets for the Scotland game, I know a guy, another YouTuber, that is he's needing 3 tickets. He's got 2 already, but he needs another 3. Does Kevin? So yeah, if you know anybody that's got any spare Scotland tickets, give me a shout. In fact, just go and see Scotsman in Tenerife on YouTube and give Kev a shout. He's looking for a couple of tickets. Chill Pill's right, and he says, I wish Lagerbielke all the best. Yep, it looks like he is on his way out the door. It's a shame that he's never been given the opportunity. After all, he did score from a header in the Champions League. Did Lagerbielke. He scored from a header in the Champions League. And you thought he was going to kick on from that. But he just wasn't given the opportunity. Brendan Rodgers decided to keep going with obviously Liam Scales, who had a fantastic season. Let's not undermine anything that Liam Scales did last season at Celtic. Let's not play down what Liam Scales did last season at Celtic. Lagerbielke coming into Celtic, it was always going to be, it was more a project signing. But even at £3 million, you were expecting him. And let's face it, Celtic must have been expecting Cameron Carter-Vickers to probably leave last summer. The fact that they brought in Lagerbielke and Big Rocky. Now, it's interesting that Celtic have also been putting out there to try and get Big Rocky out on loan. He was going to go, Legia Warsaw came back to Celtic and said, look, we'll take him on loan, but He doesn't want to go out on loan. He wants to fight for his place at Celtic, supposedly. So let's move on to the big transfer speculation continues, but Genk are reportedly ready to offer a route out of Celtic. The 23-year-old, as we say, is falling out of favour with Brendan Rodgers. Scored 5 goals last season. 5 goals in half a season. Adam Ida scored 9 goals. I did say that Adam Ida would score 10. He was one off it. He's a completely different player from And I always said that I don't. Was a kind of project signing also. He's a biggish guy, but he's just not the same as Adam Ida. And he had his opportunity, and I think he kind of fell down flat on a good few times. So could also be going out on loan. Will he go out on loan, or will it be on a permanent deal? This is the question. Will Brendan Rodgers just say, look, we need to clear the decks? Maybe they've sat down, and maybe that's the conversation that Brendan Rodgers has had with the Celtic hierarchy. Now, we've all seen the picture of Brendan Rodgers with Klopp. Yep. Klopp, the ex-Liverpool manager. Now, is there some kind of little football meeting going on in Mallorca that we don't know about? Because I've never known Scott Brown to go to Mallorca to play golf. Never. I mean, I've been following Scott Brown on his Instagram for years. He has never been to Mallorca to play golf. But all of a sudden, he went from being in Italy, being on holiday in Italy, to turning up in Mallorca. No, I'm not going to add to speculation. I'm not going to say that it's anything to do with, obviously, I'm coming back to Celtic, because it's not. All I'm saying is, I wonder if Brendan Rodgers will be having conversations with Bruni out with the all-bearing eyes of Scottish football, and he's maybe just talking about stuff. I'm just saying, there's maybe nothing in it. It may be just completely. I mean, Bruni's been all over Spain playing football. He's never been to Mallorca. Mallorca's not really a big holiday place for golfers. There's lots of golf resorts on mainland Spain. But Bruni is currently in Mallorca, in Palma, and playing golf. Not too far from where Brendan Rodgers stays. And all I'm saying is, it could be the fact that Scott Brown could be getting a few Celtic players on loan next season at his club Ayr United. So anyway, let's jump into the comment section and see what you're all saying to it this evening. Now that we've got the sort of transfer bit out the way, we'll say good evening, everyone. And anyway, Andrew Fernie was in first, then Pork Chop Express says, hail, Baz. Tamak was in, and then Monkey MTB says, evening, Baz. Paul Bear, Chill Pill. Rabbi is in the house also. Stuart Ramsey, how are you, Uncle Stuart, tonight? Where's Lorna? Evening, Baz, no fellow Tim's. Gerard's in, about you, Monkey. Do you feel sorry for Gustav? He's not had much of a chance at Celtic. He was given a chance in the Champions League, that's the thing. And he scored a goal at a time that we were crying out for somebody to score a goal from a header. And he did it. He did it from a corner. And I just think that there has to be something that Brendan Rodgers doesn't like about him as a player. And maybe Brendan Rodgers is thinking about the bigger picture. You know, maybe Brendan Rodgers is thinking about the type of team that he wants Celtic to have. Big, muscly, power centre-backs. You know, big Cameron Carter-Vickers type player. Maybe we're going to go out. I mean, because you've got to say, even Liam Scales can get pushed about a bit, you know, and maybe that's what the manager's wanting. He's wanting a big, powerful back line. Because let's face it, when you look at the one and only Alistair Johnston, fucking, you're not going to mess with Ali Johnston, are you? He's not shy. And there's one thing you say about Alistair Johnston, he's not shy. So you could say that Cameron Carter-Vickers is a cert to stay there. Alistair Johnston, we all know that we need a left back to push Greg Taylor out of the team. Maybe we're going to go for a powerful left back also. But it's also been said that we're looking at a big, powerful defender. Maybe that's what Brendan wants. He wants us to not be bullied at the back. He wants us to bully bully strikers. He's obviously seen things in training that we don't see on a weekly basis. Anyway, Monkey MTV feels sorry for Gustav. Pork Chop Express. Deliverance waiting on Banco. No. David Bell's in the house. Chilpel's watching Republic Ireland and Portugal. What's the score with the Republic Ireland versus Portugal? Richard Smith is in. Stephen Cassidy is coming in from Germany and asked if he's got any tickets. Pork Chop Express, sell them. Sell Lagerbielke. We should loan O out with no option to buy. I don't know. I think O's had his chance. More like hen's teeth over here. Yeah, no. Yeah, Stephen, it is that. There's a lot of people crying. And the thing is my mate that's looking for the tickets, he actually thought he ordered tickets. Well, he did order tickets, but the company sent him tickets for a different Scotland game. And they're not going to be in Germany come that game. So anyway. Scale stepped up when we needed him, said Richard Smith. Yes, he did that. He did that. But let's face it. Is he good enough for the Champions League? Be honest in your thinking. Is Scales ready to go up against the best of the best in Europe? Can he hold his own? Can he stop the silly little mistakes that Gustav that Scales has? And we all know that he's got them. He's great at going forward, yes, but I don't know. The manager obviously sees something that we don't in training. Big Rabbi says we should loan O out. That's a tongue twister, isn't it? With an option to buy. His numbers are a bit like Keogh last season. Keogh very very season. The fact he only scored 5 goals in half a season for me, and the chances that he was given at the beginning of the season, he was given a lot of game time. You've got to remember that he was given a lot of game time. He had a lot of opportunities to try and state a place. When Kyogo, let's face it, Kyogo wasn't doing too well at the beginning of the season. Always getting the game time. He cannot say that he wasn't getting the game time. He got the game time and he failed to produce on numerous occasions. Anyway, Martin says, evening folks. Liz Donnelly is in the house also. Gemma is in the house, says, evening everyone. And Baz. Paul Finney says, evening everyone. Paul Baird says, if I can find it, O didn't get too many chances. He scored a cracker, a goal against Aberdeen. He came on, but he did. He got a lot of Paul. When you think about it, at the beginning of the season, he was getting time. He was getting a lot of game time coming on as a sub, and he just wasn't. If you look at the goal to ratio of Adam Eder coming on as a sub to the goal to ratio of O coming on as a sub, Adam Eder walks it all day long. John, the truck driving legend, hail Baz, the truck driving legend from the Republic of Fife. He is in the house, and the Huns are shite. Yeah, the Huns are always shite. Hail from South Africa is in the house. Daniel's coming in from South Africa. Oh, so Bruni could look after the young Kelly. That would be a good move for him. Would it, Chilpel? Do you think that? I think Daniel Kelly's nearer the Celtic first team than going out on loan. I don't think that Daniel Kelly is at that age or at that stage of his career where he needs to go out on loan. I think he's shown enough. He's shown more than enough and shown that he's capable to be in and around that first team squad. More than capable. And I felt a bit sorry for Daniel Kelly in the running. And you know that the manager has to go with his strongest team and he has to go with the players that have been there and done it. I did feel sorry for Daniel Kelly in the running because he was on the bench and he was on the periphery and he just didn't get the game time that I thought Brendan might have gave him. But maybe you're right. Maybe he's sat and had a conversation with Bruni and said, look, Daniel Kelly's going to be something special for us. You never know. There's maybe conversations like that. You do know that Brendan Rodgers likes his little conversations on Mallorca. He does like his little conversations. And I can only think that there has to be something in it. Because Brunei has never been, and it's not a big golf destination. You know, it's not there's golf resorts up and down the Costa Blanca coast. There's loads of golf resorts. Absolutely tons of them. Anyway, it's given us something to think about. I'm excited about Bosun. Yes, Big Bosun. He's going to be a player and a half. Joseph, I totally agree with that. I think it's going to be interesting to see where he comes back into the team, because you never know, he might come in and give Brendan Rodgers something to think about, because he's a big chap. He's a big chap. You know, and maybe Brendan's thinking, like, we'll get him back into training. And does he play him in defence where he was at Celtic? Or does he go into that midfield role that he deployed at Fleetwood Town? It's going to be an interesting one. I hope he doesn't get put out on loan again. I think he proved himself last season that he's big enough and strong enough, and he can handle first team football. And I think it's always good to get them out one season on loan. I think hopefully Bosun can come back into the team. Peter Kelly says hail, and Duncan says hello Baz. At least 7 players needed. As far as he's concerned, I think there could be at least 7 players coming in. Ronaldo is still playing at 39. Portugal are winning 1-0. Ronaldo's just a beast, though, isn't he? Do you think Ronaldo will ever give up? Evan Sean says, reckon Big Bolson Lowell will do the business in pre-season. Get loaned out. I'd like to see Tillio get a real run. Marco Tillio, I wonder if he will even come back. Was he loaned out just to the end of the season? Or was he one of the ones that was... it was just to the end of the season, wasn't it? Patrick's coming in from Belfast. And he's playing. He's 39. It's 1-0 to Portugal. 1976 Doc says, Oh Yang, Rocky, Lagerbielke, Haksabanovic, Mikey Johnson, Welsh will be the ones freeing up the way. Welsh isn't going anywhere, mate. Stephen Welsh will not be going out on loan. Not a chance. Not a chance. Stephen Welsh will not go out on loan. The manager will not put Stephen Welsh out on loan. No way. He is a squad player for the Champions League. He's a squad player in there to make up the numbers for the Champions League. There's absolutely no way will Stephen Welsh. And we all know that Stephen Welsh, is he up there with? Is he any better? Let's have that conversation. Is Stephen Welsh better than Gustav Lagerbielke? When was the last time that Stephen Welsh scored a goal for Celtic? Has Stephen Welsh scored a goal for Celtic? I don't even know. Has Stephen Welsh scored a goal for Celtic? Let's try and... Welsh. Well, he scored 2 goals in the 21-22 season. In the 21-23 season, he scored 1 goal. Allegedly. But there you go. He scored 3 goals for Celtic. Yep. Open scoring after only 2 minutes. And a 2-1 win over Motherwell in 2021. There you go. Stephen Welsh has scored a couple of goals for Celtic. He scored 3 goals. So, there you go. He will not believe Stephen Welsh will not be one of the players. Do you know what's really mad? Stephen Welsh has won 4 championship trophies. Stephen Welsh has won 4 championship trophies. He's won 2 Scottish Cups. And he's won 2 League Cups. That's fucking bad. See the amount of players. The amount of players that are kicking around at Celtic. And picking up wages and winning medals is unbelievable. And let's face it, he's not doing too much. Anyway, I missed John. Where was John's comment? John, how are you this evening? How's Kev doing? How's work? I was talking to one of my other brothers actually. He said that the trades are just doing a nightmare just now. Building sites are only starting to build houses when they get it sold, which is not good for the trades guys that I know. Anyway, let's get back to the good evening from North London, says Daenerys. Paul says maybe Bruni is looking for a job. No, he's not looking for a job. He's got that manager's job, and I think Bruni might just be having little conversations and around the golf with the manager. And I think, if anything, it'll be about taking some Celtic fringe players, younger players, on loan to develop. I think Celtic will use Scott Brown quite a lot to help develop their first team players over the next couple of seasons. And will that put Scott Brown in, and it's going to happen at some point, will that eventually put Scott Brown in the frame for the Celtic manager's job in the future. If Scott Brown manages to take some players away from Celtic on loan, some of the younger players, and he gets them performing, and he gets them into, he molds them into the type of player that he wants players to be, will that put Scott Brown in the frame for the Celtic job in the future? Anyway, John says we need the Scottish quota. Yeah, we do that. He scored for Celtic. Yes, he scored that. He has scored. Yep. John says he did score in his first game of the season. Yeah, I'm just catching up. I think one was a header. Welsh is always injured, says Ian. And he is a bit a chocolate ankle, doesn't he? Republic of Ireland defending is a bomb scare. Is Adam Eder playing this evening? Tell me that. I should switch the telly on, shouldn't I? I'll fucking take ages to fire up the fire sticker around. Is Adam Eder playing this evening? John says, not our site Baz, it's total build. Kev on holiday next week. St Andrews, a week of drinking. Yeah, he'll be up at, yeah. When's he coming over here? Yes. I might give my phone. Yep, Adam Eder must be playing. Yep, Joseph tells me that. Right, let me see if there's other Celtic news. A Celtic Academy player. Celtic are on the brink of losing a 16-year-old talent, AJ Doyle, to Derby County, as reported this evening. Doyle, who's shown promise in the Celtic youth ranks, has represented the Republic of Ireland at various levels. Reportedly agreed to deal. We'll see a move to the Championship club. He was once a goalkeeper, now plays in defence. That was another one that Celtic are losing. I just think that, if Celtic, Darren D needs to get his finger out. This position of pathway manager. It'll be interesting when Brendan Rodgers starts getting interviewed again. It'll be interesting if people within the Celtic media fraternity will ask Brendan Rodgers the question of how involved he is with Darren D, with the pathway manager's job and everything that's going on in the back room on bringing young players, because I think that could ultimately, that is what I think Brendan Rodgers' legacy will be for Celtic. Drinking Fanta is so Spanish, says Doc67. It's Fanta lemon. And it's really refreshing. And my throat is... Anyway. What's the point of having a youth team, says Chill Pill? Especially when we can't keep them. Seems to be the big issue. Especially when we can't keep them. Anyway, we're letting go too many youngsters. I don't think that we're letting them go. I think that they're not signing contracts with Celtic, and they don't see. Hopefully with Darren O'Dea being the pathway manager, and I think the time they get the under-18 manager sorted out and get that in position, and they get all the things that are in the background that are needing fixed at Celtic. So is Mau. Oh, Mau. Yeah, I know, but it's fucking Tuesday night. You can't be drinking on a Tuesday night. Although I did have a pint of Guinness earlier, so when I finish work. I've been watching years, Tilbo. I've been wondering that for years. Yeah. Lorna's been wondering what is the point of your youth system, because gone are the days where Celtic had a conveyor belt of players coming into the first team. But when you have to win titles and you're trying to be as dominant as we are as a club in Scottish football, it doesn't give the manager a lot of opportunity to bleed in young players. Young players have got to be really stand out. Have got to be really standout players. Now, a lot of people will say, look, how many players have left Celtic? How many young players have left Celtic and went on to become superstars? And let's face it, all the next big things that we've spoken about over the years, all the next big players to come out of Celtic, they've all left Celtic, apart from Ben Doak. I mean, Ben Doak pretty much walked into the Liverpool team. That's the only one. A lot of these guys have went on and they're having mediocre careers. So is it the fact that they're not Celtic need to do better with training? I think the fact that Brendan Rodgers is getting in the new under-18s coach, and we're getting Johnny Hayes in as assistant for the B team, I think that can only be good because we're getting a level of experience of to this young group of players that is really, really needed at Celtic. And hopefully that will give them the motivation to stay at Celtic and further their career at Celtic. Catholic Rebel says, what's the latest goalkeeper rumours? Who knows? No, it's John that says that. John, we're getting linked with everybody. And Catholic Rebel says, we need more academy players, to be honest. Yep, what's the point? Learn your trade by then. I think that's the whole reason that the whole pathway manager job was brought in by Celtic. I think so that we can sit the players down. There's too and Brendan Rodgers said it himself. Brendan Rodgers says there's too many young players are coming knocking on his door when they're 17-year-old and saying, I should be in the first team. And I think that's the youth of today. The youth of today think that they should be fucking handed everything on a plate. And there's not going to be many of them that are going to, if they don't get their way, they're going, well, fuck it, I'm not getting a chance at Celtic, I'm going to go somewhere else. I want to be a football player. You know, and Brendan Rodgers said, he said, look, some of them, they come knocking on your door demanding that they be playing in the first team. And it's like, learn your trade. Learn your trade, you know, it's like just bide your time. The amount of Celtic players that have done that and went on to be successful, Kieran Tierney for being one, Callum McGregor, James Forrest, to name but a few, have done fantastically well. But they weren't the type of young players to bang on the manager's door and demand that they be playing. You know, they knew that there was a process that had to go through. If you want to reach the top with Celtic, could you imagine Paul McStay as a young player? Could you imagine young Roy Aitken banging on the doors of their managers at the time and saying, I need to be playing or I'm fucking off. Fuck off then. It'd have been brilliant being a manager back then because you just turned around and could you imagine saying fuck off to one of the young players just now? It'd be on fucking social media, fucking be on Twitter and fucking everything, Instagram and fucking TikTok. Fucking manager told me to fuck off. Fuck off then. It's as simple as that. Jesus. Anyway, right, let's get back to the comments. The reason that the youth, Ralston, Welsh, Calmack, Forrest, McGeary, Maloney, Mikey Johnson, Tierney, McManus, etc. The list goes on. People need to wisen up. And if not, they need to fuck off. I'm enjoying saying fuck off tonight. Fuck off. Brownie taking the reins from Brodge. Brodge? Don't ever call Brendan Rodgers Brodge. Jesus, Jamie, come on. Never. Don't do it. Right? Just, it's not happening. Not on my shift. It's not happening. It's just no fucking Brodge. No, just not happening. Right, B says we shouldn't let these English teams who are stockpiling youth players at crazy numbers to do one. I think that's not just the English. The Germans have been doing it for a long time. The Germans have been stockpiling a lot of English players. They've been stocking up on English players, knowing that they can sell them back to England for vastly and fucking inflated prices. Brown Warrior says that would melt the snowflake. It would that it would abuse their flakes. They're that. Chilpel would say the board believe there's still a YTS scheme. Can you look if you worked 40? Do you remember working 40 hours a week for £29.50? Those fucking scandalous Tory bastards brought that in. They made us work for £29.50. Could you imagine turning around to a young person of today, because they're gender neutral, and saying you're on £29.50 for a 40-hour week wage? They'd be like, "You fucking having a laugh? You having a laugh? Are you having a laugh? Are you having a laugh?" And the fucking anyway, the YTS scheme, haven't heard that in years. £29.50, and then you went up to £35 a week in your second year. Fucking spending it. Jesus, God, you remember that? Anyway, let's move on for that. Even Baz says Lindsay. Ian says, and my cousin played in the youth team with Ali, Brazil, Roy Aitken back in the day. YTS scheme, haven't ended that for there. Stephen Kenny says KT back up the road, 10 million, no brainer, plenty of experience in Europe. Yeah, but Stephen, would he see out the full? And I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. Would Kieran Tierney see out the 10 games of the Champions League? Because he's never been fully fit between an August and December for years, and that is my only worry. It's my only worry is you go out and spend 10 million on Kieran Tierney and you bring him back, and 4 games into the Champions League against a Spanish side, he does his ankle or something, and that's him out again, or he pulls his hamstring. Baz, it was £27.50 when it started for me. I'm sure, yes, it was £27.50, £27.50, and then it went up to £35. I was on £23.50 a week. Jesus, I was on £27.50 back in the day. The 80s were fantastic. Unbelievable. I worked for £29.50 for British Rail and a YTS. Jesus, Tam Mark. You're all going to need counselling after tonight's video. You're all going to need counselling talking about earning £25.50 and £27.50 for a 40-hour working week. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Fucking slave labour, they Tory bums. Anyway, Jamie says, excuse my laziness. I couldn't be annoyed writing Brendan Rodgers. That's okay then. That's okay. Never call him Rodgers again. Never. John Shirley says, Baz, have you been taking those Spanish verbal bills again? Or has the sun went to your heat? Probably working in 28-degree heat in a house with no fucking aircon. Probably done my nutting today. KT is coming home, says, chill pill. Oh, God. I'm not too sure how I feel about it. If he does come home, I wish him all the best. But my only concern is that between an August and December, for as many years, he's never been 100% fit. And I don't want us to go into the Champions League thinking that Kieran Tierney is the answer to all our woes in the Champions League and he's going to help us. And he sees maybe 3 games and then he's out injured for 3 or 4 months. I wish the chat about ex-players it would stop. It's all nonsense, says Paul Baird. Ida looking sharp in this friendly with Portugal, still 1-0 down. That is good. I was going to put that on, wasn't I? Oh. The battery is low on remote control for my... Oh, Jesus. I don't even know where the app is. It'll probably take me half an hour to find it. Anyway, realistically, how many players do you think that we will get in, says Paul? I think realistically, we're probably looking at the best part of 6 players. We need a goalkeeper, we need a left back, we need a central defender, we need a midfielder, we need a striker, and we need a winger. So there's 6 players. There's 6 players at least. 6 players. If Benji Siegrist leaves, we need 2 goalkeepers. There's 7 players. That is 7 first team ready players, not project signings. That is 7 first team ready players that we're going to need. So Ida looks the part tonight. I'm going to try and get the game on. Where is live? Why is my apps? I should have done that well before I came on. Apps. I can't find that. Anyway, right. There has been only 599. I'm not hanging about much longer because we've been on for half an hour. The views are way down because obviously the Ireland game is on. When it's going forward over the next couple of weeks, due to the fact that the Euros are on, the lives will be a little bit earlier. I've not decided what time yet. And then if we're doing any watch along stuff, it will be on the other channel. John Shirley says, Baz, here's 10 minutes. Better than Taylor Swift. Hez goals, Baz. Yeah, I'll get it on Hez goals. I'll get it on my Fire Stick if I can get it working. I've not had this telly on for absolute ages. Anyway, take it Bain and McCarthy stealing a wage next season again, says John. I think that. How does it know? I'm going to hate to reinstall that app. I think it's the fact that Scott Bain will still be at Celtic for a few years because he is the backup keeper that Brendan trusts. Lorna Gallagher says we need the board to give Brendan a dosh. I think he will do that. Type of post once, for fuck's sake. Blacksmith Apprentice I was on. £27.50 a week was wasted. Yep, £27.50 a week. Now go and lie down and stop thinking about that. God. I actually walked out my YTS in £27.50 a week because I thought, fuck this, I'm not fucking doing this for £27.50 a week. And then I went and I walked out that job, walked out the YTS, and I walked into a job 2 weeks later for £120 a week. I thought I was millionaire. I thought I was rich. Anyway, on that note, have a fantastic evening. We've had 538. The breaking news tonight has been the fact that the Italian team that came in for Gustav Lagerbielke have made a new approach to Celtic for the defender. It is understood that the Serie A club want a loan with an option to buy. They want to take Gustav on loan for the season with an option to buy at the end of the season. And he was obviously going to go to the team in question in December. So you just think we could have had him sold this summer. And they were going to take him in December. But Cameron Carter-Vickers got injured. The 24-year-old Sweden international will be gone this summer. Will Celtic recoup the $3 million? That is the big question point. And in other transfer speculation, Genk are reportedly ready to offer a route out of Celtic. They won't. It's not understood yet whether it's a loan or a permanent deal. So it looks like could be leaving Celtic also. I think it'll be the case that if Adam Ida gets over the line for the Celtic deal, I think that will probably push through the South Korean getting his way out of Celtic to Genk. So that is it for this evening. It's been absolutely fantastic. We are on 17,301 subscribers. Absolutely fantastic. Love every single one of you. Let's get some comments before we go. Not McCarthy's fault. Celtic giving them the contract. Yeah, well, I was lying on concrete on £300 a week in Milton Keynes within 6 months. There we go. 1-0 to Portugal still. Lorna Gallagher says, hail, hail, troops. Take care. Cheers, Baz. Hit the thumbs up, please, troops. And on that note, have a fantastic evening.